I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. David Bowie.
Welcome to Casa de Confidence, a podcast for you. You'll hear some incredible women
And some awesome cool dudes
going confidently in the direction of their dreams and living in the purpose of their heart.
You're our host,
Julie DeLucca-Collins, and you are our sidekick. Hashtag handsome hot husband.
That again.
And the producer of the show.
That I am.
I am an author, speaker, coach, dreamer, and most of all,
we help people go in the direction of their dreams
and support them on their purpose. So pull up a chair,
grab a drink,
and make yourself at home because our casa
is your casa.
So, Dan, are you saying that we haven't had a boring overall experience in our life?
I think I've had boring times, but I'm pretty excited to be traveling this life with you.
Okay. First of all, I don't like being told that you are with me and that there's been boring times.
What?
I mean,
Hold
I'm
on.
not boring.
Let's take care of business first.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Welcome back to Casa de Confidence. This is Dan.
And this is Julie.
You were supposed to say that.
Oh, you
were confused by my quote.
Okay. First of all,
what I meant is in my life, there's been boring times.
But not with me.
You know what? Boring times make the exciting times more exciting.
Oh, my God. Just agree that you haven't had boring times with me to help my brain.
Absolutely not.
Okay. What has been the most boring time you've had with me?
The most boring time I've had with you?
Yeah.
Huh. Let me think. I can't categorize it. You know why?
Why?
There haven't been any.
Ah, there you go. I knew it. See, I bring the spice to your life.
You do bring the spice to my life.
In more ways than just the cooking.
You're my... You are my spicy wife.
Your spicy wife. That's a spicy take if I've ever heard one. Hey, happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
It's still my birthday month.
Happy birthday to you.
It's still my birthday month.
You guys can't see, but I'm dancing in front of Julie.
No, he's not.
I'm like Marilyn Monroe over here.
No, he is not.
Happy birthday, dear Julie. Happy birthday to you. It was Julie's birthday last week, and you know what that means?
It was a celebration weekend.
Celebration weekend, and it also means it's the podcast's fourth birthday.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if I like this new setup. For those of you who are listening and maybe haven't seen my social media, Dan got himself a new desk because he is not happy with having 20 monitors right now, and he needs to add another 5.
Well, what I need a mirror so I can see. Well,
I was just seeing, like before when he was perpendicular to me, I could see his expressions and he could put his hand out. Well,
you know what I can do?
And whatever.
I got this little swivel.
Oh, swivel yourself so I can see your face.
I can turn around.
Oh, my God.
And now we're looking at each other.
Now we're looking at each other
I just
like
don't
a
know
real
how,
podcast.
But now I just can't.
Now you can't
I can't see
what
the
you're
timer.
doing. Oh, you told me to turn a timer on and I forgot. Okay.
What? I was waiting for you to turn the timer on.
All right. Well, here, I'm going to set a timer for 15. I don't know. We'll just do 15.
All right. And then I'll just look back and I'll see how much time we got.
There you go. Hey,
is that going to make a sound?
I don't know. No, probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I forgot. Listen, this is very cool because now that you swiveled, when we finish cleaning up the situation we've got going on in this office.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the office reorganization.
For those people who need order and decorum in their life, having the disorganized, not that it wasn't disorganized before, and that's why we ended up moving because we needed to do something.
We're in the middle of the explosion of things.
Oh my.
So
in addition to that, I decided to purchase new curtains.
She did
for the office.
But why did you decide to purchase them?
Because the desks are under the bay window now. And
no. Wait.
Okay.
Because your husband said, "Hey, we need new curtains because these are too long."
Yeah.
And then I saw your heart break.
My heart did break
because you love
a little.
these curtains.
How do you know I love this curtains?
Because you picked them out.
I did. I bought them when
They spark joy. So I
They
think they're
spark
going to
joy.
have a new life someplace else.
I'm debating. I think I may put the sheer curtains. I think they're going to go in the dining room, and maybe I'll move that curtain somewhere else.
Hey.
What?
I know we're talking about the podcast's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell everyone who our guests are going to be in a little bit?
You want me to share who our guests are?
Well, yeah.
That's typically what you do, Daniel.
Well,
if
it's
I
just
take over your
Well, I did
job,
the quote in the beginning.
Oh my God. So if I take over your job,
okay.
What are you going to do if I take over that?
I'm going to do your job. I'm going to sit here and look pretty.
Yeah. Oh, listen. That hair in the back of you, I don't know.
I don't have the same skills of interview that you do, though.
You don't. So
there's not many that do.
I think this is a new though for us. In the podcast life, we've had 2 interviewees in one episode before, but I don't think we've ever had a mother-daughter, have we?
4 years of the podcast, and we've never had a mother-daughter?
I don't believe so.
Wow. Well, this was recorded a little bit of time ago, so.
Not that long ago.
A little bit.
Really? It's not that long ago.
We're catching up.
It's this year. Anyway, Dr. Barb Provost and her daughter, Maggie Nielsen. Dr. Barbara created the purse strings so women could live a life free of financial stress and full of choices. We talk about what is the purse strings. And, I have to tell you that when I met with her originally and she told me about the pursestrings.co, by the way, that's their website. I was intrigued because I think that this is one thing that many, many women in particular struggle with. And this is a place where you can go and find resources. And she has approved professionals, right, that are certified, that they're checked. They check people out to make sure they're the real thing. And basically, they help individuals with life changes, whether it's getting a divorce or, if a spouse passing, or better habits with financial planning, starting a business, your estate planning, home ownership, planning a budget, business financials, planning retirement, Social Security, business taxes, managing debt, having kids, getting married, beginning investing, selling a business, Medicare. So there's financial professionals that are in this website that both Barbara and her daughter, Maggie, founded. And I am excited to be able to connect with them and to have them here because this is a resource that all women and some cool dudes may need. So really, really excited to have them. And by the way, they have a podcast called Women and Money, the shit we don't talk about, which I'm excited that I continue to listen to because they're doing some really good stuff. So Tell me more, Daniel.
Well, I'm going to challenge you. So, in a little bit, you're going to be hearing that interview, and it's a pretty amazing interview. Julia, I'm going to challenge you.
Oh, geez. Okay.
This is your life.
This is my life. Oh,
not
Lord.
Your life.
Okay.
The podcast life.
Oh, my God. This is my podcast life. Okay, go ahead.
All right. I want to challenge you.
Why can I challenge you?
Because this is about your life.
But you're part of this podcast.
I'm part of the beginning of the podcast, but not the interviews.
Lord. Okay, go ahead.
So I was part of one interview, right? I think so. Other than the first interview of the podcast where I actually interviewed you.
You've interviewed me twice, by the way. Just saying.
Very good.
I have better memory than you, apparently.
Yes, you do.
Okay, go ahead.
So, anyhow.
Yes.
You need to pick 3 episodes.
Oh.
Over the last 4 years, and tell me how they've impacted either you or a listener or one of your clients' life.
Well, that's easy. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, first of all, there is one podcast that I talk about a lot. I talk about it all the time.
One episode?
One episode.
I'm gonna write this one down.
Okay, wait.
And when you say it.
Okay, right. Let's see if you know which one it is. That's okay. A good one. Okay.
All right. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna write a word down. You'll know what it means.
Okay. So, it is really challenging to pick only 3 because ultimately there have been so many different people that I have to tell you that have impacted my life through this podcast, and I've learned so much from.
All right, so let's keep it to that have impacted your life.
Okay.
We'll do that because you really can't speak for someone else, right?
Sure. So I will say the first episode that I want to share with people is one of my first episodes.
Yeah. Has to do with mirrors,
oh my
right?
God. How did you know that?
Look
at you.
I revealed the word to her before she could even say anything.
Mother of God. Do you know me that well? That's ridiculous.
I know you that well, and it's a great episode. And I've heard you use the lessons that you learned from this amazing woman. And you've used her example and you've used her words to help other people.
Yeah. And if people are wondering what we're talking about, in one of my first episodes, and if you're following me on Substack, which, by the way, you should be, in Substack, I actually re-released this episode because it really was incredibly impacting to me in my life. It has informed a lot of the way that I see things. And even though I might have seen that before, now I really had a name for it. And basically what we're talking about is my episode with my friend, Valerie Hager. Valerie Hager has a story of redemption.
And this is within the first 5 episodes. This is like episode.
Yeah, it's episode 2.
2? Right?
2 or 3. Yeah. And really, here's the net. And I know Valerie because she married my ex-husband's cousin, and they're cousins. She's my cousin. Scott Slavin, by the way. Who I love Valerie and Scott. They're amazing. We went to their wedding. They went to ours. My ex-husband's cousins came to my wedding with Dan. That's how we roll. But anyway, I really have to say that was impactful to me because she shared a quote about believing mirrors. And honestly, I think that totally describes what a lot of our guests do for others, especially as they coach or as they are doing their thing. They believe in them before the person believes in themselves.
So you become a mirror for that person?
Yeah. And I think that, we all have these incredible gifts and talents, but we don't give ourselves credit for those gifts and talents. And that is the one thing that I hope individuals know, that we can, right, be that believing mirror for somebody else. And if we are not in a place where we believe or acknowledge or see the beauty and greatness inside of us, somebody else does. So find your believing mirror. Find that person that is really giving you that breath of belief.
That thing that you can't see in yourself at that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
All right. So that's great. All right. Let's pick a second episode.
Okay. A second episode. Well, this is going to come as a surprise to you. I bet you won't guess this one.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So the second episode that really stands out to me, and it really is someone that, by the way, I've known for a long time. She is not a coach. She is not someone who is necessarily putting herself out there, but she did something very courageous and something that I have been inspired by. Her name is Roxanne Gray. And did you think I had picked that episode?
Mm-mm. I wasn't sure.
So
we have over how many episodes now?
Over 200 and some on 30, 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
But listen, this is episode 145, and it's how to redefine what you are capable of. And Roxanne and I met through the No BS weight loss group. And on September 22nd, she embarked on a journey with her husband, David. And basically what she did is she did an experience called Everesting 29029, which basically is a 36-hour climb of 29,029 feet, which is the height of Mount Everest. And it is incredibly challenging.
So it's called Everesting?
Everesting.
Ah, okay.
And, many people are probably asking, like, why the hell would someone do this to themselves?
I remember this episode.
And I have been in a situation where I have physically challenged myself beyond what I know I am capable of doing. And I have succeeded in some ways, and in some I have not. But combining physical and spiritual and mental challenges show us how strong we could be. And this episode for me definitely reminded me that we can do more than we give ourselves credit for, and that we need to find the uncomfortable to be able to grow in our life. We need to find the uncomfortable to make sure that we know we're alive still, by the way. So, yeah. And she did this in Whistler, British Columbia, which is one of my favorite places in the world. I happen to have fallen off that mountain. So, it was skiing, by the way, and I fell into a pile of snow. Okay. So.
All right. Number 3. We got to go quick on this one, though.
Okay. So, number 3, I've had a lot of coaches, again, and financial experts. And today it's not different. We have some incredible financial experts. But in speaking to so many different people, I came across my friend, Natalie Kime. And I have to tell you, Natalie Kime and I met almost 4 years ago, I think. She was a single mom, and she pulled herself out of debt, and really right before her son went into his senior year, she bought a home so that her son could have the home where people could come hang out. And now Natalie is a financial expert, specifically helping women who are in that sandwich generation, kind of straddling retirement. I got to take care of my parents, but I have my kid that just moved back home, right? That's a lot of sandwiching, right? And she is kind, compassionate, knowledgeable, expert. And I have friends that have used her who thought there was no hope for them financially. And she gave them hope and tools that allow them to build financial freedom, future confidence in their finances. So Natalie Kime. Now, here's the wonderful thing about Natalie. Natalie is launching her podcast, Nickel and Dimes. And I'm not saying that I love her for, she's one of my favorite episodes, because she really is one of my favorite episodes. A lot of the stuff that we distilled. But I know that her tools and the stuff that she is sharing in her podcast is the type of information that all of us need. We need the resources. We need the right people. And today, not only am I giving you some of my favorite, but I also am bringing to you Barbara and her daughter, Maggie. I loved having both of them in this episode. I love Natalie Kime as well, Nickel and Dimes.
When does it premiere?
Oh, it premieres on Wednesday, May 1st.
And how do you know that?
Because we're producing it by Cosmic Confidence Productions.
You know what I just realized?
What? What did you realize?
We have 2 finance podcasts.
Oh my goodness. Are
network.
We niching down to be the producers of financial podcasts?
Yeah, we have.
Wow. Well, maybe you are, not me. Listen, we have financial podcasts. We have self-care.
The 2 finance podcasts are Cash and Sass with Lisa Marie. And now we have
Nickels and Dimes with Natalie Kime.
It's not the name. Actually, it's a longer name than that, but Nickels and Dimes will do.
And if you want to listen to some other incredible women, I encourage you to reach out to us. And on Instagram, reach out to me, Julie DeLucca-Collins. And by the way, I finally got my Facebook back for those of you who were wondering.
Yay!
Who knows for how long? So connect with me in all other places as well. Let me know what are your favorite types of podcasts. And I am happy to connect you, to introduce you, or to share my favorite ones with you. So, Daniel.
It's episode time.
Okay.
Time for your interview with Barbara Provost and Maggie Nielsen.
Welcome back, my friends, to Casa de Confidence. Today, we have what I would think is a first. And I'm sure if it's not a first, handsome hot husband producer of the show will remind me that it's not the first. But I really was looking into, and I do believe 100% that it's our first mother-daughter interview. So excited to have this dynamic duo with me today. I love what they are doing in the world. I have Dr. Barbara Provost and her daughter, Maggie Nielsen. They started an organization that I believe everyone here, especially us females, need to know about, and it's called Purse Strings. And we're going to deep dive a little bit more into the organization. What was the impetus for getting it launched, and how is it making an impact on the lives of individuals? But however, let's get to know our guest. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yeah, super excited as well. And one of the things that I've been excited to share with my listeners and with the guest is my love for a podcast called Diary of a CEO. And Stephen Bartlett, who is the host of the episode. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He interviews very big name CEOs from all kinds of walks of life from around the globe. The thing that I love is that he's really good at digging deep into the individuals. But at the end of the show, he asks his guest, he asks the guest to write a question for the next CEO that is coming. And that is what the diary of the CEO is. So I don't have my guests ask a question for the next guest, but what I do have are the questions that those CEOs have shared. And they come in a set of cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one card randomly, and this will get us to get to know you a little more before we jump into our meaty interviews. So thank you, ladies, for playing along. So I'm going to pick along. Let's see. Let's do this one. Oh, this is a long one. Okay, I need glasses for this one too. So I'm going to show you if you're looking in the screen. It's the actual writing from the person. They took a screenshot. Wow. So it's pretty cool. And actually, okay, so this question was left by Simon Sinek. And
I love him.
Okay, how fun, right? Okay. What advice did you get from someone earlier in your career that you follow, but now in hindsight, which you hadn't? And why?
I can start on that one.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, growing up in a very conventional family, it was always, get a job, stay with that job, get the benefits, get the 401k, get the health benefits. And, you kind of work yourself up the ranks and you stay there and till you die or retire.
Or retired, yep.
I mean, that was really very typical, right? You pay it to the man or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But it worked for me for a while until it didn't, till I was really listening to my own sense of self and what it is that I wanted to do in my life and in my career. And I resigned from that. And I'll never forget, a woman said to me, "Aren't you afraid?" And I said, "Afraid of what?" And she said, "Afraid of leaving, this kind of conventional 9-to-5 job." And I said, "I'm afraid of staying because my life is not my own. And I started my own company, Provost Consulting. And it was my opportunity to have the world as my oyster, work with whom I wanted to work with the work that I wanted to do, and create my own kind of life pace and schedule. So
beautiful.
That would be my answer.
Yeah. I think that we tend to have been conditioned that way in so many different levels. I know that for me, I knew that I wanted to do something on my own, but the fear of not being able to do it, being able to take care of myself and having that cushion. And on the other side of the coin, what will people say that I'm leaving this secure, successful position to all of a sudden an unknown, right? So that was definitely for me. I am interested, Maggie, how do you answer this question? Because you grew up in a home with someone that had taken the leap, or you saw her take the leap. So what is your answer to this?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I'm just thinking about all these times I don't know if this really aligns, but I was trying to get, a job in these consulting firms, these, those big ones, because it just seemed like that's what you do. You get your MBA, you go to these consulting firms, and it never worked out. And I'm so happy it didn't, because it just like wasn't me. And seeing the way my mom works, like at home on her own accord, I was just like, this is the best thing that didn't work out. You know what I mean? And just learning that you do have to follow yourself, even though you thought I was really let down at that point. I didn't get this job that everyone wanted, but it was exciting that I didn't.
Yeah. It's interesting how when we look back, things align the way they're supposed to. And I do believe
100%.
that your partnership, your collaboration is creating a ripple effect in the lives of so many different people. But Barbara, I wonder what was kind of the inkling or the inspiration, and if you could give us a little bit of the journey to what you're doing now, because like you said, you had a job, you were climbing that ladder or doing the safe thing, and then you decided to call your own shots. You took that leap of confidence, of faith, a scary leap nonetheless. But what led you to what you're doing now?
So I was working inside corporate as an adult educator. My background is I'm a doctor of adult and higher learning, and I got my doctorate while I was still working. So at that time, I realized, wow, I could be doing so much more. I really didn't want to be handed the work that I was being handed. I thought I could be doing so much more. There's more I wanted to do, more I wanted to learn. I wanted to be in control of my own schedule. And so I knew I could do consulting. I had the background, the education, I had the experience. And so I did leave to hang out my own shingle, and the organization I left hired me the next day. So that was very lucky because they knew that they were leaving and losing a very good employee and didn't want to lose that. So that was really helpful for me to start my new work in that way. But then it also allowed me the opportunity to expand out to other financial organizations. And I did do consulting for about 13, 14 years as Provost Consulting. And it was during the pandemic. Well, let me back up. I did start creating purse strings while I was consulting, kind of as a side hustle, as an investigation, because the work I was doing inside financial organizations, I could see where they were overlooking the female market. I could see it in my daily life. I could see it in my career choice. I could see it in my peers. And I knew that there was something there that needed to be addressed. So I started purse strings, building that, investigating that, building that model out. And then with the pandemic, everything shut down, right? Including my consulting practice.
Wow.
So as you say, everything happens for a reason. And it was interesting timing because my consulting shut down. I had purse strings that was really in my heart of hearts, something I wanted to do. Maggie had just finished her MBA, and Maggie had been my scribe years before when I was doing the focus group. So she's been with me along this journey the whole time. And I said to her, Maggie, you're graduated, you need a job. I really want to go 100% with purse strings. Do you want to partner on this? She said yes, and we just hit the ground running.
Amazing, amazing. What was it like when your mom asked you, Maggie, to join her? Because you, like you said, you were looking for a job, you were kind of looking for this traditional path. And then she said, "Hey, by the way, will you want to join me in this?" What was that like?
It was really exciting. I feel like I was coming out of school and almost didn't know like if she would hire someone so new, And it also was like, how is this going to work with our relationship? Just because, we've worked a lot together, but then
Yeah.
committing more like a full 40 hours a week is something different. But I was really excited and I knew, you know, all the opportunities that were in store, all the ideas that I had, all the ideas she had. So it was really exciting and just confirmed to me for like every reason why things didn't work out before, why it happened like that, because better things were on their way.
Mm. That's so good. And I think that I love that you saw the possibility. And sometimes we don't get past our own fears to see the possibility. And there's a lot of things that could have prevented you from taking the leap to, well, what would it be like? Is it going to affect our relationship, like you said? And so many times we walk away from doing the thing. And one of the things that, as you were talking, Barbara, it occurred to me that thank God you decided to take the leap, because your yes created a change for many people through what you're doing. So at times when we sit and we don't want to say the yes because we are afraid, our fears are keeping others from reaching their dreams and reaching their goals. So that's something that I keep learning in this journey. So it's interesting that, it came to mind.
Yeah, it was, it's interesting that you say that because you don't realize the impact your work has on other people. And believe me, I mean, getting out on that skinny limb is very, very scary, because you are walking away from a lot of security in a way, but it's almost like you're betting on yourself. I knew I was a hard worker. I knew I had a passion for purse strings. I saw the need. I did the research. I held the focus groups. And I knew that this was something that I just had to do. I'm passionate about it every day. I see the need every day. And so that's what drives me.
Yeah. It's amazing. And as I've had the experience of speaking to so many different women, different walks of life, I see that when they are doing the thing that they're passionate about, sometimes it really is born out of a place that we were. And I wonder if for you, and we're going to talk a little bit about what purse strings is, but I wonder, was there something that for you, you needed to have that ability to be independent with your finances, to kind of take the rein and make those financial decisions that are smart, that make a difference in your life and the life of your families? Was that something that led you to doing this?
Well, I was out on my own at 18, put myself through school, and really was responsible for my own health, welfare, oversight, and finances, and didn't get married till I was 34. So I had a long time of living on my own, buying my own house, my own cars. Like I said, putting myself through school, and then got married, and still was running my own company and very financially independent on my own. But that was because I had to be, right? I came from a very big family, 13 children.
Wow.
So nothing was handed to you. You just had to go get it. So I guess it started out from just, survivorship to more confidence, more education, learning, knowledge, skill, wisdom comes along with all of that. And just realizing that you need to learn this life skill of taking care of yourself financially. And as I looked around, and then I was always in the financial realm, either a bank or insurance company, financial institution. So I was surrounded by financial speak and investments and all of that. So that was not fearful for me. However, I looked around and saw the inequities with women, and that's what stopped me dead in my tracks and realized there's an issue here that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that as women, my mom was also a single mom, and I saw her really struggle, and she wanted to be independent. My grandparents wanted to help her, but she said, no, I want to do this on my own. The tough part for my mom and so many other different women is that nobody really equips you with the right tools to go out and tackle finances head on. And we are intimidated and we tell ourselves the story. And by the way, I want to raise my hand. I told myself a story that I was terrible with money. And I am not perfect. I've learned lessons, and this is an ongoing process for me to tackle it. But I've learned to the avoidance or the story of believing that I can't do it keeps me from actually doing it. And I think that this is one of the biggest things that we need to tackle as women, whether you are married or not. Allow yourself to understand what the finances are, because you never know if that's something that you will have to then take the reins on.
Definitely.
Maggie, I wonder, when you watched your mom, if she's independent, she kind of took care of herself. What did that teach you?
I was always taught to be very independent. And it also showed me how women can be business owners and entrepreneurs and different things like that. As you know, a lot of my friends did have the stay-at-home mom, where I had a stay-at-home dad for some time. So it was just that interesting dynamic. And so I never really felt like it was, to me, I was like, of course I'd be in the working world. I don't want to stay home. We're both like busy bees, love to keep moving. And so I was like, this, that just seems, I was very empowered, having her as a mom and seeing all that as a young age, and just, watching her work from home and, knowing that things had to get done and that's how the bills get paid. And she would make sure we knew that as well.
Yeah. So good. Which leads me to really digging into a little bit of more about purse strings. One of the things that you say is that purse strings allows individuals that work alongside you to make the financial decisions with confidence and ease. And again, when I think of women, when I think of finances, and even with my clients, I don't see them feeling confident or at ease. So what was the idea behind purse strings? What do you do? I want to really, again, understand it further. We've talked a little bit. I went into researching, but I want you to share more with us and the listeners who are starting to maybe tune in a little deeper, because this conversation is for you, my friend.
Yeah. Well, as a consultant in the industry, like I said, I could see the industry itself was not serving women. And I could see it in this linear transactional sales process where the end goal was to sell a product. I could see a lot of the marketing materials typically had, a white family, a man, a woman, and 2 little kids skipping down the beach, which is not a reflection of our society. And a lot of other things that I just thought, they're really missing women. I didn't feel engaged in any of the products or services they were selling. And I'd say, who is this product for? And they'd say, well, for like you or me. And there is no way I felt engaged that product was for me. So I tucked that in the back of my mind. I actually went through a divorce and navigated that with some other women who had very foundational questions around, can I afford this divorce? Do I need life insurance? I never had a budget before. What kind of savings should I have available? And so it was interesting to me that women had these kind of fundamental questions. So I tucked that in and was thinking, that's interesting. And then Maggie and I would run errands on the weekend, and I'd see women of retirement age bagging groceries or handing out little samples at Costco, things like that. And I'd wonder, why are these women of retirement age doing these kind of very low paying jobs? So I realized there's something going on here. Women are struggling, and I commissioned a researcher to do the deep research on how are financial institutions helping women be financially fearless, as we say, and are women prepared for their financial future? And all the data came back that, the financial and insurance organizations win the award as being the least sympathetic to women. So they're not helping women, and women are really not prepared for their financial future. So there's this huge disconnect. And so I grabbed Maggie. She was in high school at the time. I said, get your computer. Let's go talk to women. So I had lots of different focus groups pulled together, young, old. We had one that was facilitated in Spanish. I just wanted to get out there and ask women, this is what the data is telling me. What's your experience when you're talking to your financial professional or when you are engaging with any type of financial conversation? And Julie, they came back and said they don't even look at us.
No.
They just talk to our husbands or they want me to buy a product. And I typically don't understand the product, but I feel very pressured to buy a product. So not a very good experience at all. So I said to them, well, you will be in charge of your finances at some point in time, whether you like it or not, because with the average age of a widow being 59, with the gray divorce happening at 3 times the rate, what do you need? And they said to us, if we could have a place to go to get information, resources, where we'll be treated with respect, with dignity, not told, don't worry about that, honey, whenever we have a question, that would be great. And if you could find us financial professionals who understand women, understand the female market, know what we're up against, and really be our trusted provider and partner, that would be great too. So that's the model of purse strings. I say we're kind of like the Angie's List of financial professionals for women.
I love that. Again, I get so excited listening to you because I went through a divorce. And by the way, I don't regret having the marriage. It taught me and made me the person that I am. However, I knew early on that it was not going to be a successful marriage. I had that inkling, and I really suffered through a lot of loneliness and so many different things. However, the thing that kept me from leaving this marriage was that I was afraid I was not going to be able to make it on my own, that I wouldn't be able to. And again, from the outside, everything looked great, right? We had the 2 double income, no kids, living in Manhattan, traveling the world, and successful professionals. But guess what? I was earning more money than my ex. I had the better job. Well, I mean, the better position and earner. And I still felt like I could not make it on my own. And again, I let past choices in my younger days, define me. And then I just remember sitting down when it came time to leave the marriage, and the world hands you something that is kind of the change. And I remember sitting down and I thought, what if I can't do it? And I thought, let me write down what this means. Okay, well, what's the worst thing if I leave the marriage? Okay, I need to get a place of my own. I need to do this. I need to take care of myself. I need to disentangle our finances. Do I have enough money to make it? Live on my own in New York City? And then I realized that I had all these fears that I would not be able to make it and I would end up homeless.
Yes.
And isn't that crazy that, and by the way, yes, you have to have something that gives you that cushion. Yeah. But that was me. And what about a woman who is in an abusive marriage and doesn't know anything and doesn't have a source of income?
Yeah.
So it is very important to have this type of education, because I honestly, in those really crucial times of moving forward in a singlehood for myself, I didn't have anybody that I could turn, but I really was someone who was looking to figure it out.
Yeah.
And figure it out. And I think that this is why I love the model of what you're doing. Maggie, do you see that individuals your age are changing? Because obviously you're a different generation. Are women your age kind of changing the narrative, or do you feel that it's still that ignorance or I don't want to deal with it mentality when it comes to finances?
There's definitely a mix. I'm seeing a lot more women who are taking control of their finances, who are earning that income and really staying focused there. And one part is you really need dual incomes these days to stay afloat.
Oh, for sure.
But there are still some women who are kind of following the paths that they saw at home. which might just be that stay-at-home mom, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just like to make sure that those people are, still prepared financially and getting their retirement funded and all those different things. But it's definitely, I see a lot more women, especially my age, stepping into their power and owning their finances and really making that plan for their financial future, which is so exciting to see.
Yeah, that definitely is exciting. Now, when someone first comes to your site, what are the different things that they can leverage? What are the things that you would advise someone to start off with, even if maybe they're not ready to come to the site? But what is the one thing that they really should know?
Definitely. So we always just start with, no matter what you're doing, you've got to know what money is coming in and what money is going out. Otherwise, that's like your first thing you have to know. And so either if you do this through an app, just on, a piece of paper, or we have a worksheet, where is my money going? Just figuring that out. And then you can start taking perspective of if you need to earn more, if you're doing great, if you just need to reallocate some funds, whatever it may be. But we always say, you have to know where your money is going, what's coming in and what's going out. And so that's a tool you can get on our site. But otherwise, we have different life and money guides talking about, buying a home or car insurance, different things like that. But if you are thinking about divorce, we do have a divorce guide to help you, walk through some of those things, some of those assets you need to look at and who may be on your team, as well as a family emergency binder, as I'm sure, we all have all this information about our car insurance and old 401ks and the code to the lockbox and all these different things. And so it's just one spot where you can write it all down. So your family has that important information and you're not searching for these things when someone does die or they are in the hospital or all that stuff. It's all in one central location. So we have a lot of those free tools and resources just to kind of open the conversation, get your wheels turning, all of those good things.
Oh, so good. These are wonderful tools. One of the things that I know for women, and I, again, want to come back to my mom. She is an incredibly intelligent woman. She has done so much for others. But when it comes to doing for herself, there's a lot of things that she didn't necessarily have the guidance to be able to put into place. Last year, and this is another thing that I've become very passionate about, she had a fall, ended up in the hospital, and I flew to Georgia to be with her. My sister lives there as well, but we had no idea, like, where are her papers? What is her insurance? What are her doctors? We needed to come up with the cards for the insurance so that she can go from the hospital to the rehab, and what will they cover? So it's so much to navigate, but for someone, and let's not talk at, that retirement age, but let's start for someone your age, Maggie, someone who's a new professional starting to come into the world, maybe married, maybe not. What are the things that they should be looking at financially? What insurance, budgeting, what are these things?
Definitely. I mean, we always want to make sure that we have kind of an emergency fund or an FU fund or whatever you want to call it, but that sum of money that can protect you if you get laid off, if you need to leave a relationship, if you need to fly to, fly to Georgia to take care of your mom, whatever it may be, you need to have that foundation. Then from there, we always want to work on paying down any high interest rate debt because that can really bog us down. So really starting to pay that off and doing whatever you can to start funding your retirement. And I like to really think here of, what benefits is your work offering you? If they're doing a 5% match, maybe make sure you're getting that 5%. Or if you could put stuff in a health savings account, take advantage of all those work benefits that you get in those first 2 weeks. Go back and sift through those and really make sure you're getting everything that you're being paid for. And then the last thing I really want to throw in there is your powers of attorney. And these are something that are really important. When you turn 18, you're a legal adult. So if I fell and hit my head, my mom couldn't come talk to the doctors in the hospital and take my money and start paying my bills for me and manage that for me because she doesn't have the authority. I would be 18. Wow. I'd be a legal adult. And so getting your healthcare and your financial powers of attorney are super important when you turn 18. Just so somebody is there who can take your money and pay your bills for you or help make those medical decisions. It doesn't have to be a parent. It doesn't have to be, someone blood relative, just someone who will support you in those times. because those are, something that we need to have covered. You want to make sure anyone can help you in those situations. So those are some of the things I would start with for sure.
Amazing. I think that those are really good thoughts. I'm thinking like, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't have power of attorney. And that's crazy. Like, God forbid something happens to me. And now we're business owners with my husband. He has to have the ability to do different things. Now, which leads me to a question, Barbara. Many listeners right now are loving the empowerment, the part that we're really creating financial education for women who are at many times lacking it, who are scared of money. But maybe they are in a good marriage, a good relationship. I left one that was not so good. I'm in an equal loving partnership now. So a lot of the finances also, I have to take into account that guy. Who also brings some money into the relationship, because although I am still very independent, and I've kept my independence, that may not be where everybody is. And also, as people want to leverage purse strings, how can they? And also take into account that there's another person with an opinion.
Right, for sure. Yeah. So we're all at different stages in our life, and we're all in different types of relationships. What's very, very important is to be able to talk about money in your relationship. It's difficult for many because so often we were raised in households where we just didn't talk about money. It was rude. It was a secret. It just wasn't polite to talk about money. So what is it? What's the message you get? Don't talk about it, right? Or other households may have been, when we talk about money, it's an argument, or we yell at each other, or we're stressed about it. So that doesn't feel good. So what are we learning from that? Let's not talk about it, right? So you have to really unpack your own money story, and how is that impacting your choices and how you're using your money today, right? So that's important to really kind of step back and think about that. We have a lot of money coaches that help you work through that as well. And if you're not talking about money, you're not learning about money. And you do, if you're in a partnership, you have to know that the impacts of each other's spending, credit, debt, whatever impacts one another. So you really need to talk about how the money is going to be used and leveraged. What are your common goals that you're sharing or saving for together? How do you want to go about paying down debt? What kind of debt are you comfortable taking on? How are you coming into the marriage? Are you coming into the marriage with debt? That's a question that really has to be answered, because that's a biggie. I mean, with student loans out there, a lot of credit card debt people come along with. You just need to have those conversations and really get it out on the table. Like Maggie said, with the emergency guide, people will say, I don't even know how to have the conversation. But if you download our emergency guide, we'll give you a link to that. That's a great opportunity to just say, hey, here's an opportunity for us to kind of get all of our ducks in order in one place. So let's open this guide up and start talking about, where are our accounts? What are the account numbers, right? Just starting with the task of getting it all together starts delving into the conversation of money. So you don't have to, you can ease into the conversation, and really money is just a tool that we all need to learn how to use.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love listening that we can have these candid conversations, even though we might be afraid because of our upbringing and society in general. So I like that as well, that we need to empower each other to be on the same page. Because again, when you're meeting together as a spouse, you're coming in with your money stories. They're coming in with their way of spending. And that's something that my dad used to say, you need to unify criteria.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You all have your own money stories, and you need to kind of talk about how you feel about money. I come from a family of 13 children. Money was scarce. It's scarcity, right? Yeah. My husband comes from a family of 3. He doesn't feel the same way about money as I do. It's interesting. We kind of chuckle about some of the decisions we make because it comes from our money stories.
Yeah, absolutely. So for someone that's listening, and I want to delve into one other part, of Purse Strings is not only are you providing the resources for individuals and for women, but you also have a Purse Strings approved professional. Tell me more about that.
So our Purse Strings approved professionals are all different types of financial professionals who have been approved and vetted by Purse Strings. They are well qualified. They really focus on serving the female market, really understand the plight of women. And so these could be financial advisors, CPAs, attorneys, business coaches, all these different people who go to any financial transition or transition or transaction. And so that way, when women come to our site, they can build that team of financial professionals to help them through that divorce or to plan for retirement or to get those powers of attorneys or whatever it may be. So often we heard women who would say, their financial professional didn't look at them or would give them the "don't worry, sweetheart," or would say, they don't love to work with women because women ask too many questions. You will not find those professionals on our site. These are professionals who do want to empower you and to really help you live that best financially fearless life.
Oh, so good. I am excited. And again, when I first met Barbara, I thought, brilliant. We needed this. And I think that from so many different sides, people need to leverage this. I have friends that are entering so many different stages in their lives. I have friends that are going through a divorce. I have friends that are encountering paying for college, even though they saved. They are finding that college is more expensive than what they saved, and they're getting ready to retire. And how do they navigate that? So there's so much in here. The resources that you have are incredibly rich. You have such a wonderful mission. How can people support what you're doing? What is the best way to not only leverage your tools, partner with you as an advisor, but also how can they support this so that we can make sure that the women out there are getting this type of support in resources?
Yeah. Tell all your friends to go to pursestrings.co. All of our tools and resources are free, with the exception of one little course that we charge $25 for. And the only reason for that is we want them to have some skin in the game.
Yeah, I love it.
But other than that, everything else is free access to our directory. Of course, it's in the pay. You need to pay for the professionals that you hire and do business with. But we want all women to know that we are out there for them to take advantage of our resources and to leverage our directory. Again, we're at pursestrings.co. We have a ton of free resources. We'll give you a couple of those links, Julie, that you can put in your show notes.
Amazing.
And, jump on our email list. Just right when you go on our site, you can just sign up for our email. We get a weekly email. It's just chock full of information, resources, access to our professionals. And, you'll learn a little nugget every step of the way. It's kind of like if you're afraid of money or talking about money or feeling concerned or shamed, all that stops with Purse Strings. We're here for you wherever you are on your financial journey.
Beautiful. I love that. And Maggie, I wonder if there's anything else that we didn't cover that maybe you want to go ahead and make sure that we talk about before we say goodbye.
We just always like to spread the message of just getting started. So many people wait till the next week or to wait for somebody else or till it's crunch time. Let's get started today. Today is the best time to get started. So whatever that small action is, take it and it will still have a great effect on your finances. So let's just get started.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's great advice. You ladies have been amazing. Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing, for starting this as well. I believe that sometimes the hardest is the start button, and you're doing it. So thank you for helping other women build confidence in their finances. But more importantly, thank you so much for saying yes to going after your own dreams and living that life that we imagine. Will you come back?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Thank you for letting us share our message, Julie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being willing to be here. And I can't wait. My thought, I was telling Dan that we need to put this in the April show. We're looking at taxes, etc., because it'll be frame of mind for people. So thank you again. And until next time, my friends, don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Thanks for listening to Casa de Confidence. We thank you for listening, and if you want more, go to casadeconfidencepod.com. Check Julie out on her socials as Julie DeLucca-Collins. And you can also check out her website at goconfidentlycoaching.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, go confidently in the direction of your dreams.
Hi, everybody. I know that sometimes we get very lonely in this entrepreneur journey, and I want to invite you to join us into our limited time only Purposeful You Mastermind. For many of us entrepreneurs, we believe that we can do it all, but the reality is that doing it alone only creates a lot of overwhelm. So join us at the Purposeful You Mastermind. You can find out more information by going to bit.ly/Julie's Mastermind. This is going to be the place where you are able to then unlock your full potential and achieve long-term success for your business. Push you behind your current limits, expand your connections, discover new ideas, and implement them with confidence. You're going to get the support in all aspects and transforming you to the six-figure business you've been looking for. Pause and get off the hamster wheel if you've been spinning around. This is a time where you can get that support from like-minded entrepreneurs that are here to join you in your journey. Together, we can challenge the assumptions and land the speaking engagements and opportunities we want to grow our business and make an impact in the lives of people. See you then. Remember, you can find the mastermind at bit.ly, Julie's Mastermind.